Happy Wednesday afternoon. I hope everyone's having a good week so far. I wanted to shoot a quick video today on the topic of educational planning. So I had a question yesterday from a client. He actually has Florida Prepaid for his daughters. And he asked me, Jeff, what's the difference between prepaid and a 529 savings plan? So I figure I would share a resource online and just hit a high-level overview of the differences and the similarities, and hopefully point you guys in the right direction. So let me jump to share my screen here. All right, hopefully everyone can see this. This is myfloridaprepaid.com. Understanding the plans. If you go to the resource tab, there's a lot of good information here. You can actually enroll directly through the site. But under the resource tab, there's a prepaid versus savings, which is what I'm going to run through here. So basic difference, prepaid, obviously you're prepaying the cost of tuition. You're locking in the rates now for tuition that might be 10, 15 years out, versus a 529 plan, which gives you a lot of flexibility as far as what you contribute, but you're not locking in any tuition rates. Depending on where tuition and inflation goes, rates are obviously going to be higher than they are today. So you want to keep that in mind when you look at these two different plans. The big difference is, again, saving at your own pace versus locking it in and having some type of systematic payment that you have to make. When can you enroll? Really any time for both of them. Anytime on the 529 plan, anytime on the prepaid. The big thing with the prepaid, though, is they have an open enrollment window. So it's open now for 2019. I want to say it goes through October. By staying in the open enrollment window, you can lock in rates for that particular year. If you go outside the window, you're potentially going to have some higher rates looking into 2020. So keep that in mind. At what age does your child have to be to enroll? Again, 529 is flexible, any age or grade. The prepaid, you can do it all the way through 11th grade. Do you have to be a resident of Florida? For the prepaid, you do have to be a resident, or the child has to be a resident for at least 12 months. The 529 plan, no, it's pretty flexible there. You don't have to live in the state to use or set up that type of account. What does it cover? So this is a big difference, again, between the two. The 529 covers any qualified education expenses. So that can be tuition, room and board, books, really anything associated with college expenses, versus the prepaid, where, again, you're just locking in the tuition cost and prepaying that. They do offer some flexibility as far as adding things like another dormitory plan or other options there, but the basic prepaid is just tuition, versus 529, which is really anything college related. Flexibility, we talked about it. I think both of them are pretty flexible. 529, you can use it anywhere nationwide. The prepaid is obviously geared towards Florida colleges and state universities. If your child, though, or grandchild does not go to school in Florida, you can actually transfer that balance and just pay the difference from a tuition perspective. So keep that in mind. If they receive scholarships or other grants or funds, you can actually get a refund for what you've contributed to the prepaid. So that's a little perk there. The 529, you can't get a refund, but you can actually use it for those other expenses we talked about, like room and board or books, stuff like that. We talked about what happens if they move out of Florida. How long do they have to use the funds? So the prepaid, they have to use it within 10 years of actually hitting that college age. So if it's 18, they've got to use it by 28. The 529 plan, there is no set time frame, so you can use it pretty much indefinitely if they go back to school later in life. Financial considerations, big thing with both of these accounts is the tax benefit. So the earnings are tax-free as long as they're used for college expenses or education expenses there. Payment options, the prepaid gives you 3 choices. You can pay it monthly, which is usually the lowest option. You can pay as a lump sum, where you just pay it all at once or over a 5-year period. The 529, we talked about that. There's really no contribution minimum. You can put as little in there as you want. Maximum wise, you just want to keep in mind things like taxes for gift tax purposes. So 9 times out of 10, you're usually not hitting that, but if you are contributing large dollar amounts to a 529, just keep in consideration the gift tax aspect of it. Can I lose money? So this is another difference. The prepaid, you cannot lose money. So whatever you put into that thing is guaranteed by the state of Florida. The 529 can fluctuate. So depending on the investments internally, how that thing's positioned, it can fluctuate in value depending on how the investments do themselves, because they are typically tied to the market. That's where I would advise you work with a planner, an advisor, to make sure that things are positioned appropriately for the child, given the time frame and risk tolerance. What if the child does not go to school or college? So you can get a refund for the prepaid if they don't go. The 529, you can actually withdraw the proceeds, but just keep in mind, again, we talked about it, taxes. So if you take funds out of the 529 and it's not used for college purposes, it's potentially a taxable event. So hopefully that's helpful. There's a lot of different choices for 529s out there. Hopefully we can help you navigate that. If there's any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'd be happy to try and point you in the right direction. Have a great rest of the week, and we look forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.